So here's a question. When is the best time to buy property in South Africa? Now, I can tell you that if you're waiting for the perfect time to buy property in South Africa, you're going to wait your entire life. So in this video, I'm going to show you the truth. Why timing the property market is a myth. Why waiting is the most expensive mistake that you can make. Now, the only formula that matters when you decide to buy a property. And of course, I'm going to share with you how I'm personally applying this formula through a life challenge. Now, where at the moment I'm busy turning 1 cent with no security, with no banks, with no one involved, to more than 700,000 Rand per month property portfolio in less than 1 year. And as I've said, I'm not going to a bank or do anything like that. The way that I'm doing it, I'm using 7 classes of property. So let's get started. For decades, South Africans have been told, wait until the interest rate drops, or wait until the economy stabilizes, or wait for the right market conditions before you buy a property. But you know what? Here's what no one tells you. There is no such thing as a perfect time. Timing is a myth. And it's one of the biggest wealth killers in property. So if timing worked, think about it for a moment. Every economist in the country would be wealthy. But you know, and I know that most aren't, because timing is unpredictable and irrelevant. Now, every month that you wait to buy an income-generating property, you lose. You lose rental income. You lose equity growth. You lose the tax advantages that you may be getting. You lose the compounding effect of growth. You lose the momentum. You lose the experience. And, of course, you lose the ability to do that next deal. So people think wasting costs nothing, but that's not the truth, because waiting is often the most expensive decision that you can make in your life. Because while you wait, the world moves on. The property prices are going to rise, the rents are going to escalate, the inflation is going to eat up your money, and the opportunities are going to disappear. So I know that waiting feels safe emotionally, but financially, it's one of the riskiest things that you can do. Now, to prove this point, I'm doing something that I've never done before. I've started a life challenge where I'm taking 1 cent, just 1 cent, and building it into a property portfolio capable of generating 777,777 Rand per month in under 12 months using the 7 classes of property without using the bank or standing any security. Not someday, not theoretically, but right now I'm busy in this process and with this process, and I'm documenting it step by step. I'm doing this because most people think that they need capital. They don't. People think that they need the perfect timing. They don't. People think that property is houses. It's not. So this challenge proves one thing. Wealth is created by strategy, not by timing. And it's created by skills, not by capital. I want you to forget about timing. I want you to forget about interest rates. I want you to forget about the economic predictions that people are making. The only question that tells you whether to buy a property is this one. Is my investment growth rate, my IGR, is it bigger than my financial freedom growth rate, my FFGR? That's it. That's all. So if the IGR is bigger than the FFGR on a property, the time to buy that property or create that property is right now. If the IGR is smaller than your FFGR, the time is absolutely never. So let me explain. Your FFGR stands for your financial freedom growth rate. This is the growth rate that you personally need in order to become financially free in your chosen time frame. So for some people, it's going to be 25%, for others 65%, for others even up to 80% or even more. Right. Now, here's the trick. If you don't know your FFGR, your financial freedom growth rate, it is impossible to make good financial decisions because your IGR, your investment growth rate, that is, by the way, the real growth that the property is going to give you. And that IGR includes your net monthly cash flow, your equity growth, your tax advantages, the leverage that you're going to apply or get because of property, the rental escalations, the deal structure, the risk reduction. So here's the trick. The moment that my IGR beats my FFGR, that's the moment that you buy. If not, you simply walk away. Timing, as I've said, means nothing. Math means everything. And this is a rule that I'm using in this specific challenge. Every decision that I make must beat my FFGR. If not, I don't do it. Now, I've seen that most South Africans believe that property is a house or an apartment. You know, this is what everyone tells you. That is just one class of property. And ironically, this class, your house, is the slowest and the most capital intensive property there is. So the wealth creator strategy teaches us that property is anything that can produce income. This is what the law says. Now, there are 7 classes of property. There's the physical property, that's the brick and mortar that most people are thinking about when they think about property. Then you get business properties. Those are the systems that generate income. You get intellectual properties, that's your expertise. You get digital properties, any online assets that you may have. You get financial properties, which are and will give you asymmetrical returns. You get attention property, which is audience-driven assets that you've got. And you've got personal property, which is high-value skills. This is by far the most valuable property there is. Right. Now, these classes, they are helping you to accelerate your IGR. So you don't depend on luck. You don't depend on the market. You don't depend on banks. And this is why I can start with 1 cent. Because the challenge uses skill plus strategy plus leverage. It does not need cash. So already the challenge is proving the same thing that it did in my 1987 rebirth. So in 1987, I realized I don't need money to become financially free. 7 years later, we were. So you do not need any money to start. You need resourcefulness. You need the skills. You need the right strategy. And you need to measure the right things. So every step of the challenge is a real-time demonstration of specifically that. That personal skills beat capital, strategy beats timing, and property is bigger than just bricks. Now, income is the real engine of wealth. This simply means that my IGR must be bigger than my FFGR, and that is my compass that I'm using. Now, waiting is the enemy, and the wealth creation is a formula. Therefore, the truth that no one is going to tell you is basically this. The best time to buy a property is not when the interest rates drop, or when the economy stabilizes, or at the bottom of the cycle that you won't be able to time in any case, or when you feel ready. The best time to buy property is the moment that you find a deal, or structure a deal, or create a deal where your IGR exceeds your FFGR. And you then have the skills in order to be able to execute on that. So here's the trick. If the numbers work, you buy, and you buy right now. If they don't, you don't buy. Even if the market looks perfect, even if people tell you it's the greatest deal or bargain in the world, you simply walk away. This is at least how wealthy people think. They don't time the market, they don't time the deal. If you want to know your FFGR, financial freedom growth rate, if you want to analyze deals in literally minutes anywhere in the world, if you want to build income generating property, or if you want to follow the Life 1 Cent challenge, or you want to create real financial freedom, then I want to invite you to join the Property Accelerator Masterclass. You're going to find the link here on this page. You simply click on that link, book your page, and make sure that you pitch up. Now, I'd like to make you another deal, and that is if you want a personal wealth roadmap, you're going to find a separate roadmap link on this page. You simply click on that, and this is where your journey is going to begin. Just like mine did way back in 1987. The moment that you understand your IGR must be bigger than your FFGR, and you've got the skills and you understand property, and you start investing in property in the right sequence, in the right way, then you're going to find that things like to turn a cent into 777,000 Rand per month in less than a year, things like that is possible. So here's the trick that I want to leave you with. I want you to think smarter. I want you to act bolder. I want you to live free. Click on that link and I'll see you in the masterclass.